Nothing changed for the prodigal son up until he decided to take control of his life. In Luke 15 verse 18 it says, I will rise and go to my father's house and say, Father, I have sinned against you and heaven. So now, the prodigal son's life had deteriorated to a point where he was almost eating with pigs. So if you don't know the background story of the prodigal son, when you turn to Luke 15, it starts off with him asking his estate from his father. And then the father, being a loving father and faithful father, he gave him what belonged to him, and he left to go to a far country where he squandered the money in promiscuous living. So he found himself attached to a citizen of that land who was a pig farmer, and he was feeding the pigs to a point where he longed to eat with the pigs. So now when he got to that point, he decided to take control of his life. He made a conscious decision. So you know what, no, I can't be living like this or almost eating with pigs, to a point he decided to go back home. So I truly believe his story ended well. So too, our story can end well, but it boils down to making a conscious decision and taking control of our lives. Not allowing people or circumstances to dictate to us how we should live, where we limit ourselves, we limit our calling to mediocrity, you know? So now, you can have 101 excuses. This is just my thinking. You can, in fact, 101 reasons of why your current life, your current career, your situation is the way it is. They may be valid, but the question this morning is what are you willing to do to change your situation? Here's something else that I saw as I was looking at that particular passage. The father did not go and pick him up and bring him home when he started seeing that his son was living a messed up life. In fact, he did not know where his son was. But after the prodigal son made a decision to go back home, he had to do the legwork. He had to take action. Faith without action is dead. So he had to take the necessary steps to go back home and apologize to his father for what he had done. So now, as I was looking at that, I started thinking around that, okay, how do I take control of my life? So the first step that I want to implement, we should implement, is do a self-assessment, assessment of where I'm at, do a self-reflection, you know, do an introspection of where am I in life, in terms of my goals, my values, my standard of living. Am I happy with where I'm at, or do I want to achieve more? This is the part where now after doing the self-assessment, you set goals of how to better yourself. If you are not happy with where you are and you want to better yourself, you set achievable and attainable goals. You know, whatever specific area that you want to improve, maybe finance, maybe fitness, maybe your career, marriage, but you set goals that are achievable and attainable, and you create a plan that will help you in terms of, let's say you want to lose weight. What's the plan? How many times per week are you going to exercise or change your diet? This will build into you taking control of your life. As I was looking at that, then you set a time management. These are steps that we should put in place in order to take control of our lives. Time management or priority management, you know, this spills into creating a daily routine out of the 24 hours. How many hours do you sleep? How many hours do you have at work? And then how many hours do you dedicate to improving yourself? Instead of being random, but you become intentional with that routine of yours that will help you take control of your life. The other thing that I saw is learning to say no. You know, learning to say no builds into discipline. Or how much do you value yourself? To say no to things that do not align with your goals, your values, your vision or your mission statement. If they don't align, let's not entertain them, family. So we should learn to say no. And then we should build a support structure in terms of the people who surround us, our mentors, our coaches, the people that inspire us to do better, and people we are accountable to, that whenever I'm falling short, I know that these people are going to hold me accountable. This is the team that we as individuals need to have in our lives. As much as the prodigal son might not have that team, but he knew where to go back. He knew to go back home, family. So now I think it's time we face reality for what it is, not what we think it should be or how we hope it should be or what we wish it to be. Because when you look at the prodigal son's story, as the way it was, he was almost eating with pigs. So he had to face reality for himself. Say, you know what, let me go back home, I messed up. So now the very same rules that he rebelled against at home, hey, look into the future, those rules were essentially there to protect him and they were there for his happiness and his livelihood, but he rebelled against them. So he had to learn from them. So Isaiah 55 says, let the wicked turn from their ways and return to the Lord. So now in the case of the prodigal son, he returned to the Lord. So we need to turn from our wicked ways, family. So as we continue with our biblical discourse, so now the next thing that I looked at with regards to the prodigal son was God will intervene only if you operate with the how, right? HOW principle. H being honest with yourself and being honest with God, that you know what, I know where I fall short and what are my weaknesses. Do a SWOT analysis of yourself so that you can improve yourself, right? So that's the honest part. And openness, be willing to be open towards God's direction, and willingness. That's the how principle, as I was looking at the prodigal son, Luke 15 verse 18. And then take action while you still can. You know, family, there are certain things that if left to themselves, they do not get better, but in fact they deteriorate even further. So if your financial situation left to itself, it might not get better, but you need to take action while you can. Your marriage, your career, your relationships, your health. So left to itself, it might not get better, but deteriorate even further. So you might have to take action while you still can. So these are some of the principles that I caught as I was looking at, like, how do I take control of my life? I thank you, family.
Set a fire down in my soul, I can't contain.